In the final months of the Clone War, with the highest-ranking members of the Jedi Order dispatched across the galaxy, only 3 Jedi Masters were present to hear the brutal story of Jedi Master Jai Marek's capture by Dooku and Asajj Ventress, Master Alina Zan, Master Mace Windu, and Master Yoda. During Jai's retelling, the Masters were interrupted by the shocked reactions of a Jedi Padawan present known as Scout. When the Masters removed Scout from the chambers, they reflected upon the Padawan's weakness in the Force, and how it would be more empathetic to place Scout within the Agricultural Corps to serve there, rather than upon the battlefields of the Clone War. Eventually, the Masters would consider the Order's predicament caused by the war, especially their lack of true warriors. If Padawans like Scout took the battlefield, not only would they be endangering their own life, but the life of their master and the Republic soldiers that served under them. As Master Jai would conclude, not every master and apprentice pairing could be as formidable as Anakin and Obi-Wan, but the Order was at war, and they needed to at least produce Padawans and Knights who were not a liability for the Republic and other members of the Order. Ultimately, no longer discussing the abilities of a single Jedi and now getting into larger topics of Jedi philosophy, the 3 Masters turned to Yoda for guidance. Yoda, of course, gave great consideration to the question, thinking out loud about what type of Jedi would be best for him to go into battle with. Given the other Masters' clear preference for strength and proficiency in warfare, Yoda asked then if the Masters thought it best to go to war with the Jedi strongest in the Force, noting that if that were the case, then Anakin Skywalker should be the first choice. Immediately, despite their earlier statements, Alina and Mace rejected Anakin as too impulsive and lacking in training, even though he was the strongest with the Force. Interested, Yoda then took their answers and amended what they thought would be the perfect warrior for the Clone War. Clearly, the Masters valued strength and temperament as well as wisdom. Without question, Yoda then formulated the qualities of this hypothetical perfect warrior. They should be naturally strong in the Force and proficient with a lightsaber, not too impulsive or quick to act without thinking, and they should be well trained in the Force, utilizing their natural wisdom upon the battlefield. With those qualities, Yoda then had no mistake who the best warrior would be among them. It would be Dooku. In a way, the answer shocked Yoda himself, and as he looked to each of the other Masters, they could only look away, even Mace, almost embarrassed they were describing traits possessed by their most notorious enemy. Yoda could only conclude Dooku was the Order's greatest student as well as their greatest failure. The fact that Yoda would conclude that Dooku was the greatest warrior of the Clone War, rather than say a Mace or Plo Koon or even Anakin, isn't that surprising. We've discussed it in previous videos, but Dooku was one of the greatest lightsaber duelists of his era, a committed Form 2 practitioner who focused on lightsaber-to-lightsaber combat techniques his entire life. Even within the novel where Yoda made this conclusion, Yoda Dark Rendezvous, the Jedi Master recognized that on neutral ground, only Mace would be Dooku's equal in lightsaber combat, and upon a dark side-infested world like Vajun, Dooku's advantage would be undeniable. The much more interesting aspect is Yoda's awareness of Dooku's wisdom and training regarding the Force. The novel Dark Rendezvous is filled with great flashback scenes with Yoda training and conversing with a young Dooku, conversations that make it clear why he was considered to be the Order's most gifted Padawan of his era. Even at only 20 years old, Yoda recognized Dooku's skills in combat, but more importantly, his potential to sit upon the High Council. 6 decades before the Clone War, Yoda would have profound discussions with Dooku about his place within the galaxy, and also the Jedi approach to the dark side, with both recognizing its natural existence with the light. Unlike Anakin, who also thought about these topics, Dooku held nothing back in admitting his fear of the dark side, and Yoda in turn held nothing back in admitting his own faults and history with the dark. It was a powerful dynamic between them, and spoke to the wisdom that Dooku would come to be known for within the Order. The combination of Dooku's lightsaber skills, power with the Force, and wisdom correctly put him at the top of the list of warriors Yoda would go to battle with first during the Clone War, and it would also make Yoda attempt, however unlikely, to bring his former Padawan back into the light, something he thought was never even possible for Vader when Anakin fell to the dark side. Although Yoda would fail to redeem Dooku in the final months of the war, the Grand Master had to admit that Dooku was the greatest warrior of the Clone War, and his fall to the dark side was the Order's greatest failure. So there we have it, how Yoda had to admit Dooku was the greatest warrior of the Clone War. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions. Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. Or perhaps follow us on Twitter at SW Reading Club for updates regarding the channel. Or support the channel through Patreon for access to exclusive rewards and discussions. If not for me... for wisdom.